gotta walk the talk and sing the rhyme. Confidence so heavy it stops time. Eyes on the prize. Yeah.
Welcome back for another episode of the Speak Like the Boss podcast. I'm Anthony. This is Chase. How are we doing this week?
We're doing all right. It's another week.
Another heavy sigh is what I just heard.
Yeah, it's rough out there in them streets, but
Rough in the streets.
we're here. We're getting by, making it work.
Changing things up this week. A little bit new studio environment here, trying something different. So we do intend to still have some guests coming in, hopefully sooner than later. Scheduling them and everybody being on the same time frame has kind of been the issue this week. But other than that, it's definitely still in the works. So any updates or anything we want to go through before we jump into our topics?
Well, the night we recorded last, so a week from today, I went on and signed up on all the.
Yes.
I had a homie call them the Big Three.
The Big Three.
So I signed up on Bumble, Tinder, and Hinge, and then I set up Facebook dating after homie recommended that.
Okay.
Definitely think Facebook dating is more for people who are like in the city. Not to be rude, but that has been the by an overwhelming margin, the least appealing crop I've had to choose from.
Looks wise.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not that they don't exist.
Right.
They're just not attractive to you.
Right. And when I say not attractive, I mean like a good chunk of them, like not to sound crass, but I'd probably be hard to get it up.
Wow. And they're still in your age range.
Yes.
So these people are just far gone.
Most of them have children or are like very large or just got hit with the stick, coming out the womb.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
It's great though, because if you match with anybody, they just go, "Hey, you match," and you can see them and go through their profile or whatever. I did actually get a match on there that I was like, "Oh, this might, this one's all right. This might work out."
So you see their whole Facebook profile?
Not their whole Facebook profile.
Oh, okay. Just their dating profile.
Yes, what they set up, which it uses your pictures from Facebook. You can add other things to it, but
interesting.
She didn't message me at all. She matched me first and then didn't message at all. I was like, all right, whatever.
Interesting. Because we did get some questions about that kind of stuff today. So it's interesting that you're going through it firsthand, so you'll have some good takes on those first couple of questions.
God. I had a lot to say about this week. Since the last time I got on dating apps, they are hardcore going for the money grab.
Pay me or you won't get matches.
Well, not really that. You are always able to pay to like boost yourself, and they'll like put you in front of more people or like put you first or in the first like 10 on the page or something as people are swiping. But you used to have unlimited swipes. You don't have unlimited swipes anymore. You get like, I haven't counted exactly. I think it's like 10 a day.
Okay.
Tinder may have more, but I think I've also been swiping more on Tinder, so it may just feel like more. But yeah, they want you to pay like $20 a month to get unlimited swipes and to be able to see who your likes are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's just, okay.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's,
well, hopefully maybe through some of my interactions with these people that I'm trying to get on the show to do some guest spots and things of that nature, we'll find you a blind date possibility.
That'll work. Yeah.
So
see what happens.
We'll see how that all plays out maybe.
Use me as a guinea pig. Make me look like a fool in front of people, and that'd be all right.
That's not the goal.
No, I know. But I'm sure I'll say something foolish at some point.
Yeah, we can roast it on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. All right. Well, let's get into it then. So what we have today is a bunch of questions that were again sent in from viewers and the like. So we've got a lot of them. If we feel like it's running too long, we'll save some for next time. But for the most part, we're just going to try and go through them. I'm going to attempt to answer them from both perspectives, from the female and the male perspective, if we can. If I feel like it's just specifically for one gender or the other, then we'll address it accordingly, like if it's asked specifically for a guy or whatever. But the first question that was asked what's something you're immediately drawn to on a dating app profile?
So I've mentioned before, I've never really been successful on dating apps, or very successful on dating apps. Not to where I would try to give anybody advice,
Sure.
unless I'm like, hey, I did this and it didn't work, kind of thing.
Right.
I just assumed that a lot of these questions were geared towards women or information for women, so that's what I have a lot of.
Okay. So you're answering as if you were a woman?
No, I'm answering for women, like for their information. Like,
Oh, so women asking a man?
yeah, what guys look for, kind of thing.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that I've heard women say that like they don't like long drawn out profiles, at least from the man side.
Yep.
Keep it short, sweet.
They don't want to read a whole bunch about you when
Yeah.
they've got 100 people in their inbox.
Yeah, don't put anything weird on there, whatever that may be. That may be, different for each woman, but don't talk about any weird fetishes or hobbies or anything.
I mean, outside of what normal society would deem acceptable, right? Same things you wouldn't talk about to the police. I probably wouldn't address it with a woman.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess I'm getting ahead a little bit. At least what draws me in to like a woman's profile.
Yeah. Go that.
First picture, no filter.
No filter.
No filters. If I see filters, I'm like, okay, let's see if, she's got a genuine picture on here. Cause like I've been catfished a few times. So it's the less filters, the better for me. I know there's going to be at least one, but like, I don't know. They can use filters to change a lot these days. So for me anyway, I really think the less filter, the better.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are going to use filters regardless. I know women that don't take pictures unless there's a filter on. You know what I mean? They're just so insecure with how they naturally look. I think and men, I've seen men do it too. And it's a lot of because I think somewhere subconsciously we're trying to attract the best person in a very limited amount of space and time. So through a dating app profile, you have about 4 seconds to impress somebody through a picture. Right? To get them to at least linger long enough to find out who you are and look at the rest of your profile. So if you're not using the filter and you're not looking your optimal, then people will just swipe and move on, right?
I understand that, but what if you do get to the point of meeting and they decide that you don't
look anything like? Then they have to judge that in person, right? I agree with you. I do agree.
I feel like that's just that you're just setting yourself up.
You are, especially from a man's perspective, because the girl's gonna be like, "What the hell is this?" You know, this guy doesn't look anything like he does. I have seen that people look different in photos too. I personally don't think I take very good photos, but I think I look better in person. So that's just an opinion of my own about myself. But so for me, a dating app would probably not work out so well. I haven't been on one in countless years either, but
you have the height down, so that's like 95% of it, it feels like.
Yeah, that's probably part of it. I mean, yeah, I have some redeeming qualities for sure, I guess, but
my jokes aren't landing, by the way.
No,
apparently not. I mean, I've gotten a few matches, but they're probably like bots and chicks.
The jokes. The jokes you're messaging these girls with.
Well, not just that, but no, because like it's literally left on sent. Like they're not even looking at the message. The ones that I have messaged, but I'm talking about like matches and stuff. Because like we went through and we put like some jokes on my profile and stuff. Yeah.
I got you. I got what you're saying. It's not even drawing enough attention for them to like,
I guess, but
be interested in the profile in general, right?
Yeah, I guess, but whatever.
Interesting. I don't know what your profile picture is. I haven't even looked at it. It's attractive? It's not attractive?
I mean, that is what subjective. I mean, it's just simple. It's just a headshot, and then I don't know. I've got a few more pictures on there of myself, and then there's like one with me playing frisbee with my dog.
Okay. Dog is good. Dog's always a good The more, I guess, places that it looks like you visited and explored or adventurous, you know what I mean? Or
See, it really doesn't look like that.
that's
Yeah.
what's going to draw them in.
I gotcha. Well,
Yeah, if you just look like a guy who's taking a picture of himself sitting, you know, in his
well, it's
bedroom
not that.
somewhere.
It's not that. No.
It's just gonna be like, ugh.
God, I can't tell you the amount. Side tangent. I can't tell you the amount of women I've seen. It's literally just same time of day, the exact same mirror selfie. They just put on a different outfit, and you can tell they did it for the dating app.
Of course.
It's gonna work for them, but it's not.
But
gonna work
it's their
for-
full body, right?
Yeah.
That's the difference too.
I
They're
mean,
showing off the assets.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's going to draw the guys in.
Anyway, back on track.
Yes.
I like to, like, if I think I can take a girl seriously, it typically helps to see something wholesome on her profile. You know, pics with her animals, or she's like doing I don't want to say an innocent hobby, but I can't think of a better way to put that. You know, something like painting or carpentry, you know, whatever.
Something like other than just out at the club.
Or drinking or booty popping, whatever.
I mean, they're fun, but they're not date material.
Right. Doesn't mean I won't swipe on them. It just, you know, they're automatically going in that category.
Right.
Posing with familial children. So, like, not necessarily their kids, but like nieces, nephews, cousins, things like that. Because, I mean, at least to me, it shows like they're involved in their family. And if a guy is looking for a long-term relationship, that's definitely a green flag.
Right. Yeah. Anything else?
I like whenever, even if they try and kind of fail, it stands out more than the ones who don't. Something witty, or they try to be funny, or they make like they have like an ironic remark on there. It shows some type of intelligence, right?
Right. Okay. So
Like,
just
I'm more
you're
than
just
just my
saying
body.
what is standing out on their profile. So you're
Yes.
really digging into their profile to find out if this is a girl that you want to actually take on dates,
Not necessarily just take
not
on
just
dates.
swipe
Like,
on.
well, I mean, if I'm just trying to get some, we can go on a date or two. If that's what it like, that doesn't bother me. But like, would I take this chick seriously?
Well, let me give you the alternate perspective. When I did do it, I knew that quantity was the key. So it wasn't about which ones I'm swiping on. It was about how many did I swipe on.
Right. And
Right.
I mean,
I would literally just go off first picture. If this girl's picture was good, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, until I matched. And then once I matched, then I would look at their profile and say, okay, now let me figure out what I want to do with this.
I mean, I don't look too hard. It's just like, do they have at least one full body picture or like waist up picture, so I can make sure I'm not getting catfished?
It goes back to what we've always talked about: is the primary thing that you're going to be attracted to is their physical beauty.
Yeah.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that, you know, chubby girls can't get any attention. It's just, how big are you, kind of thing, you know? There's definitely too big.
Yeah.
I don't care if that hurts anybody's feelings. It's true. Guys get ridiculed for it all the time, especially if we're not taller.
When was the last time a girl was like, "You're too short"? Like to your
like
face.
to my face?
Yeah.
Ooh. The last time,
Blatantly like ridiculed you, like you said.
so the last time I was actively dating, so a couple of years ago, I went on a date with a girl, and at the end of it, and she was about my height, maybe a little shorter, and negligibly. And we did something fun. Like, you know, we went to a place where they had like go-karts and shit like that. And, you know, I made her laugh, and it was a good time. And I thought she was having a good time. And then later she texted me and she said, "Hey, I think you're great, this, that, and the other. I had a whole lot of fun." She's like, "I can't believe how much fun I had." She said, "But I think you're a little too short for me." And I was like, all right, then I guess that's fair.
Damn.
I mean, it just happens, you know. It's one of it's life. Just like, you know, we ain't swiping on big girls.
It's true. Everybody has a preference, right? Just you have to find your niche. Okay. Anything else for that one question, or should I jump to the next?
Well, I mean, you were going to talk more from the men's side, right? Like, or like, what do women?
That's true. Yeah.
What should men be putting on their?
What should
dating
men be
apps?
putting on there? So you want to highlight your major things, right? So height, if you have it, right? You want to put things like travel. You want to put things like things that are attraction triggers to women. Because what do women like to do? They want to go places. They want to see the world. They want to have luxury experiences, right? So if you can put things like that blatant, like even in one word bullet points, that's going to be the first couple things. And then I would say your first 2 to 3 pictures, again, like you said, probably no filters and stuff like that. More or less just not selfies. I find selfies for men are not very appealing.
Agreed. I don't take them. I think it's
like just
yeah.
in general. I think somebody else should always take your photos. And then when you're putting them up, just they have to look like you're having fun. You're doing something. You have friends. You don't want to look like you're by yourself in every picture. You come off a little lonely like that. If you do have a good career and something that you're proud of, you can post something along those lines as well, whether you're in a suit or you're doing something that seems like it's a legitimate job, not professional drug dealer or,
Yeah.
hood rat.
Yeah.
So
Nothing sketchy.
you don't want to have your grill on in front of a car throwing up gang signs.
No.
That's not going to get you a whole lot of dates.
You made me think of something. Speaking of,
Mhm.
and this may just be like trigger bait, but that's okay. So I can't tell you how many profiles I've seen where it's like a group of women on the first picture,
Mhm.
and you just know that it's the ugliest one there.
Which one is it?
And that's pretty much the game you're playing. I'm like, I bet it's this one. You swipe down, you're like, God damn it, it's that one. Swipe left immediately.
That's so funny. She's like, but I have pretty friends.
Yeah, but you're not introducing me to your friends.
No, they're all taken. This is the world we live in.
Any women watching that? Especially if you don't think that you're that attractive, just rip the Band-Aid off and put a picture of yourself first. Quit putting your friends and making people guess or scroll down.
Or
it makes me feel like I wasted time.
Not even that. Why would you? You're like, that's like saying.
Well, it makes them look worse, right?
Because that's what I was going to say. Come buy this used Honda Civic and ignore these Ferraris next to me.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you advertise something glamorous alongside you? It's not when you know you're the ugly runt of the group.
And
it's crazy.
I genuinely don't say that to be mean. It's just it has happened. I can't tell you how many times it has happened in just a week. I'm just like, I know which one this is going to be.
We have to understand that this podcast is reality. That's what we talk about. Mm-hmm. I'm not holding punches to save people's feelings or make them feel better or not seem like I'm coming off some kind of way. I'm going to tell you the truth. The truth of the world is a majority of people that look at your photo and see your super hot friends next to you are going to think you're the ugly duckling.
Yeah,
that's reality.
And just to throw it out there, I don't think I'm like God's gift to women. I know I'm average at best. I'm slightly below average height thanks to the latest U.S. census. It's what I'm like 5'8". It's whatever. Not like 5'8". I am 5'8". Just so we're clear. Because you get women, like 5'8", so you're like 5'6". No, bitch, I'm 5'8".
5'8".
You want to measure
5'9" with boots, bitch.
More like 5'10". But yeah, no. I'm at least I believe I'm staying in my lane. It's just we're calling stuff out. And rest assured, this guy looks at my profile. I talk to him when I talk to women, and he flames the F out of me if it's bad or wrong or anything like that. So
yeah, I'll give harsh feedback to him as well. It's not just the ladies. So
anyway,
we'll move on to the next one because it has to do with similar topic. So, what is an immediate red flag on a dating app?
Ooh, okay. So for women,
yep.
Fuck your list of demands.
Do they put that in the dating apps?
Oh,
I have been on there in years.
Bro.
That's
if
crazy.
You're not XYZ, if you're a Trump supporter, if
Oh
you don't
my
believe in
God.
women's rights and all this kind of bullshit,
Oh, I'm already outlisted by everybody then.
literally, guys are looking at your profile, they're reading 2 sentences and they're going, she is not worth the headache. It doesn't matter how, unless they really just want to smash, it's like, she's not worth the headache.
No, she's still going to get clips and swipes because of the simps.
Yeah, or
Of
dudes who
course.
are just so desperate, they're just trying to bang anything.
Yeah.
But you are a headache, no one is taking you seriously.
No, you are always going to be in the sex only category, or you're going to find a guy that you really don't like and he's going to be the only one to take you serious.
That includes like if you say you're like if you put like feminist in your bio, that's not it, sweetheart. That's not it. That's another thing. I don't care what you think or what your friends think or what your quote unquote male friends think that you ask this question. They're not swiping on you if they see that, or they're like, oh, I'm going to try to get it in while I can and then move on. Cause like, there's no way this is going to work out long term. It's too much of a headache.
This is kind of a side tangent, but sort of on the same topic. Why is it that women have such a hard time understanding that there's simps in the world that are willing to pay them, take them on dates, give them a bunch of attention? They clearly interact with them every day. But they also, on the same hand, can't understand that those guys are not attractive to them. That's the reason why they're just the guys who pay them. They're the simps, they're the pay pigs, they're the friend zones,
It's for the sake of arguing.
It doesn't make any sense why there's something in there that they can't grasp, but this is the same person that you're talking about.
It's seriously just for the sake of argument. And this is going to sound super red pill, and it kind of is, but logically it tracks. Okay. How many times have you had a discussion with a woman? Well, I feel, or I don't do that, or this, whatever.
They turn the argument to themselves versus a majority of,
or they say something where it's like an emotional response. It's like, men are more often than not forced to live in reality and think logically, right?
Right.
So
we don't have a choice.
We don't have a choice.
Reality will kick you in the fucking gonads if you don't.
So imagine how crazy that sounds in a logical discussion when you're like, well, that's not my experience. I don't believe that at all. Well, sweetheart, we're not talking, or anybody really, we're not talking about you. We're talking about society as a whole here. How many guys do you have following you around that would be like simps, or your guy friends who you think don't want to bone you, but they really do? And you're not attracted to any of them. That's why they're in the friend zone. That's why you're not dating them.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it's a baffling like conundrum to me of why they don't put 2 and 2 together.
Something not related to dating, so this will hopefully land the plane on this what we're getting at here. I had an ex one time, a commercial came on about, and it was like a Sarah McLachlan commercial, except it wasn't SPCA. It was for donating to hungry children in Africa. And she was like, oh, she was so moved by it. And she's like, I'm going to donate. I'm like, we're broke as hell. I literally just spent my entire paycheck to pay rent and keep the lights on. You're not sending a goddamn dime to them. Like we're just okay with kids starving in Africa. I'm like, considering those kids have absolutely no effect on my life, abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
And she got so irate because she thought that was just such a heartless comment from me. I'm like, look, do you know those children? I'm like, what's that kid's name? Do you remember what they said his name was? No. Okay. Are you going to go to Africa and take care of these kids and make their life better? No. Okay. Is doing that going to affect our life here or make it better?
I get it if you have the expendable resources and it's irrelevant. Like if you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank and you're like, what's $1?
The point is that she wasn't thinking logically about it.
Right.
And I had to try to rein that in. And then I was the devil for being logical and not saying, oh, yes, go ahead.
You know why?
Send $25 to those kids in Africa that we will never hear from, never get anything out of.
Because it's how you said it versus what you said.
I didn't say it. That's close to how I said it. I delivered it a little softer, but
yeah, that's the reason. I bet you.
But yeah, that was not a fun conversation.
She's like, man, I don't know. Okay,
get out of your feelings. Moral of the story.
red flag on a dating app. From the female perspective, not a female, just, playing devil's advocate here. I think what would be a red flag on a female perspective of looking at guys' profile is nothing exciting. I think that's the biggest thing. They have to be excited. They have to have something that excites them. I posted about this
interesting
recently
and
on
that's
Instagram.
Probably an issue with my dating profiles is they just
probably
don't
just
look
boring.
interesting enough.
Yeah, it just looks boring. And I posted that this week. Why do you think a girl either doesn't look your way at all, or she quickly loses attraction once you have that initial conversation? A lot of the time it's because you're boring.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing in life? What do you have going on that's exciting to her? She needs excitement. Otherwise, you're going to be exactly like the other 10 guys that are messaging her.
And it doesn't have to be Rico Suave, okay? You can say something that is corny if it's something she hasn't heard before and you can get her to laugh or pay attention and she messages you back like she's on the hook. You have an opening there.
I'm not even talking about what she's saying. I'm talking about literally what you're doing. What the hell are you doing in your life to be interesting? Because if you don't have photos of anything interesting, and she hasn't talked to you yet on a dating profile. So she has to see something that intrigues her. If you're literally just a guy standing there, I'm going to tell you right now, 99% of men, including myself, are not good enough looking to just get dates based on their looks. It's just not how it is. You have to look interesting. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care how big your cock is. I don't care how much your bank account is. Because if you don't show it in your picture, you're not interesting. So if you have the big bank account, show the car, show the house, show the things that you do, show the places you go. If you don't do anything interesting, you are a nobody. That's just the end of it. After that, you blend in with the crowd. That's the same thing I talked about when we did an episode about going out and how you should dress. You stand out in the crowd, right? You have to look different. If you're going to a place where it's a hip hop club and everybody's in gold chains, look different. If you go to a country spot and everybody's in a cowboy hat, don't wear it. Do something different. Stand out. Don't be the follower, because that's what leads everybody to just blending in. If you're a guy who looks like name AAA celebrity who's a heartthrob, great. Good for you. You're the extreme 1%er.
0.1%.
Yeah. 99% of people are not that guy.
No.
So stop trying to smolder at the camera and be all like this Don Juan. It's not going to work. You need to prove that you're doing something interesting. Women are going to fall in love with experiences, and personality far over looks. As men, we make the same mistake. We think that because we're looking at their ass and we're looking at how pretty they are, that's what they're going to be looking at. They're looking at our physical features the same way they're not. It helps if you have it, but most men don't. So you have to rely on something else. We don't take care of ourselves the way women do. No. We don't use face masks at night. We don't use serums and all these things to preserve our beauty. We're just dudes. We just wake up and roll out of bed, and we're lucky if we comb our hair and brush our teeth. We come to work and we're ready to roll, right?
I comb my hair every day.
I'm still saying you got to shave it down. You got to present yourself, right? Yeah. You just let it grow out like a little half Jew afro. You
look like a Chia Pet.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That was a nickname in high school.
Chia Pet, yeah. So there is a presentation that you have to put forward, but to assume as a man that all you have to do is show up and take a picture and you looking cute today is going to get you a girl, you are very mistaken.
I agree. And I'll say it again, that's probably the glaring issue with my profile. Yep. Not that I don't go out and do exciting things or go on nice vacations.
Yeah.
It's just, I just don't think about taking a picture.
And we don't, as men, we don't do that stuff.
It's just not me, If someone's like, hey, let's take a picture. Okay, cool. Take a couple and then move on. It's like, but I'm not the one, I don't. That's probably what I need to focus on this summer is getting good pictures when I'm out and about and on vacation and stuff like
Absolutely. This is another side note, and then we'll move on. I have pictures from when I was a baby, so probably early childhood, maybe 6, 7, 8. After that, from 8 through 21, I didn't exist. there's not a photo or a video of me that exists
Very
between
few.
those years.
My mom or my sister took the pictures, and that's it.
So trying to picture of me in my teenage years, it's not there. I was so, looking back on it, I was cute as hell. But in the moment, you're not realizing you're in your prime. You're not realizing you're, as far as your looks as a man go. You know what I mean? You're a young kid. You're
your physical prime.
Physical prime. So like the only thing that I have recently that I've seen, I have a yearbook over here that was from like high school. I'm like, this little face shot is literally the only photo I have from when I was like 17 years old.
I was, I guess, fortunate in that regard. Well, I guess not fortunate because it doesn't do me any good now. But at the time, the women that I dated took an obscene amount of pictures. So I do have good pictures from my later years in high school.
See, I didn't, because I wasn't dating really like that in high school.
Yeah.
I was a late bloomer.
I shouldn't have. I should have been like the girl I'm specifically talking about. I should have dated her maybe a year and then moved on. But I didn't realize, like, it took me into a side tangent. It took me until I was a junior before I really got a girl to date me. But I didn't realize how many other girls, not just in my class, but younger, that I could have dated and like had the hots for me until after. And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, we always reflect on these things once we're older and like, imagine if I knew what I know now in high school or college.
I mean, I wouldn't have been the most popular guy.
My body count would go from 60, 70 to 170 million. I
would have at least.
It's not good.
I would have at least tripled my body count in high school.
Interesting. All right. What do you need to see on a first date or from her afterwards before you're going to ask for a second one?
So the things I find attractive in a female outside of physical appearance that I'm looking for in a first date.
Yep.
She has to be respectful. Is she looking at her phone? Is she willing to engage in conversations with you? Is she making fun of you, not in a playful way, but it's almost like she's talking down to you or belittling the things that you talk about?
Yeah.
That's a big issue, which kind of goes into the next thing, meaningful conversations. If I ask you an open-ended question and I get a yeah or like just some bland, stupid answer, like, oh, I don't really do anything. What do you do for fun? I don't really do anything. Get out of here. Like, you're literally not contributing to the conversation. So why are you here?
It's very similar to what I was just saying about being exciting. You're kind of relating it back to the woman at this point, right?
Well, yeah. So like if she's willing to go on a date with you and it's not just a free meal, like, which is another thing I put in here, she should show interest and appreciation, right? To some degree. It doesn't have
interest
to be
and appreciation, yes.
Yeah.
I'm less interested in the conversation part that you're talking about as far as being able to like interact back and forth, because at the end of the day, I just want you to look pretty and smile. I get that it's like a one-on-one and we need to like have a conversation and be intellectuals, and that's probably better for like long-term dating or marriage.
I agree, but try, right? Don't act disinterested. Don't, you know.
That's true. That's part of, they just might not have the skill set to do so, but trying is enough.
And it's obvious whenever a girl's like, you can give the dumbest answer and it'll make us want to laugh at you, but we can sit there and go, okay, she tried, she thought about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on that one? How long, like, what do you need to, before you ask for a second date, I guess? Anything else on?
I mean, just interest, appreciation, and enjoyment. You know, if you enjoyed it, act like it, just say it. I mean, how many times have we mentioned that most men go their whole lives without hardly getting a compliment? That sounds really red pill too, but it's actually pretty true. Yeah. I can, without getting too personal, I can think of one time in my life where my dad even told me good job on anything or like gave me a compliment. Yes. But yeah, no. Yeah. If you want the guy to ask you out on a second date, act like you like him, show appreciation, tell him thank you, say you had a good time, say you really enjoyed yourself, you know?
Yeah.
That alone, even if I didn't think I had a good connection with her, that alone made me go, oh, you know, she had fun and we can have fun again. I'll go out with you again.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
From that perspective, yes, I would say appreciation will go a long way. Showing attraction. If I feel like I just took a friend out on a date
Oh yeah.
and not a female, that we're looking to get intimate at least a little bit. Like if I slide my hand across the table and we're eating a dinner, let's just say, which again, I'm going to preface this every time we talk about it because the always the go-to. Despise food as a first date.
Yeah, same.
Absolutely despise it.
Yeah, let's
so
do
I
something
will
fun.
never get into that predicament in the first place where we're at dinner on a first date. But
maybe after we have like a good time and we want to keep going.
Excitement first.
Yeah.
If we still want to keep going, then we can go have drinks and dinner or something, right? That's different. But dinner is never the plan.
Right.
Yeah, that's the first thing is show me that you're interested. So given that example, going back to if I slide my hand across the table, you better be able to put your hand in it. And like, we have to start touching. We have to start connecting.
It's flirting.
Yeah, there has to be flirting during the date. If without flirting, then I'm not going to ask you for a second date because I feel like I'm wasting my time and money.
Yeah.
That's part one. Part two is going back to what you said earlier. If we're both still attracted to each other and nobody's getting catfished, we don't want anybody to look completely different than what we anticipated showing up, right? That picture was from 5 years ago, and here's what I look like now.
I've seen actually a lot of what that looks like too.
I think, yeah. The biggest one also is what are you going to say during the date? And I'm talking about from her mouth. Like as a guy, what is she going to say that should make you question a second date? Is she talking about people she's been with? Is she talking about 5 kids at home? Is she talking about some crazy job that you don't agree with, whether she's a stripper or she's this, that, the other, you know what I mean? Whatever it may be. I don't care how much money she makes. I'm just talking about what is she actually doing for work?
This is kind of subtle along those lines, but I start to question a woman if she starts talking about things that she wants to go do. And it's like, these are some really expensive ventures here. You wanting me to foot this bill? Like, what's going on?
That is a test to see, I think, if your personalities align more than anything from a woman. So she'll say, I would love to go see X country, or I want to go do something like this, or have you ever done Y?
That sounds fun.
Sounds so great.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is never going to happen.
No.
You know what'll probably happen first? I'm getting that butt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm getting some first.
And I hate when I have to go back and say, I don't advertise men just getting a bunch of one-night stands. I don't think that that's the best way to do this. So I don't want it to sound like I'm just promoting, hey, just get some and get out.
Yeah.
But the reality of men's dating market is it's very difficult for most men to get laid.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
there's a reason why men who are promiscuous are called players or studs.
Yeah. And when we get into the opportunity to finally get sexual access, men don't know how to say no because it doesn't come around very often.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's part of the difference between men and women and why body count is different for men and women. A guy who can get it is considered like he's doing something right because most guys can't get it. So if a guy is getting laid regularly or has sex with a lot of women, it's like, wow, what did you do? How did you do that? You're doing something that most of us can't do. Now, a woman who does the same thing and goes and sleeps around, what do we think of her? Call her all the bad names in the book, sluts and whores, and call her whatever. Mostly because it's easy for her. Mm-hmm. She can go and shout out the window tomorrow, who wants to get sex? And 5 guys will be at her doorstep. Yep. It's very different. So if you're a girl who sleeps around, even when 2 girls get into an argument, what's the first thing they do?
Slut, bitch,
you slut, you hoe.
You're loose.
Yeah. They even know it's bad.
Yeah.
That's why they use it against each other. They just don't want to admit it when their emotions aren't flared up. So anyway, we're getting definitely way off topic here for that one.
That's okay. It's good info.
It is good info. that's what I would need to ask for a second date. Women usually don't ask for a date in the first place, so
Right.
it's kind of irrelevant to answer that question from their perspective because they're not going to be the ones saying, I want a second date.
But we can go into depth on what kind of things guys should be showing women, right? That would make them want to go on a second date with you.
That's true.
So I think what you mentioned before was really good. Something I kind of took to heart was leave a little mystery. You know, you're going to act a certain way. You can deviate, show her a little bit of your funny side, show her a little bit of like, you know, your serious side, but like you always come back to
low-key
that.
branching paths.
Yeah. You always come back to that middle ground.
The middle ground.
Yeah. Make her want to get to know you more. Don't.
Yeah.
If you're playing poker, you don't show your hand on the first flop. You wait, right?
That's right.
And you keep upping that ante.
Yeah. You have to lure her in, right? With mystery and excitement. Those are the two things. Women are turned on emotionally and through imagination. So they have to imagine what the future is going to be like with you to be emotionally attached. If to do that, you have to be more blatant, like obvious with what I'm telling you, instead of just theory crafting. Because I can say all these magical things like this and they sound really good, but it doesn't give you an actual blueprint. Because a guy that doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about is going to turn around and go, okay, but what do I do?
Yeah.
What do I actually do?
Yeah.
Right. To be imaginative. And okay, here's what you actually do, right? You talk about things that you want to do. Talk about some of your goals when you get the opportunity. Don't be long-winded, very short, sweet. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. This is what my career trajectory is on track to do. This is where I want to be in 2 years. You're going to be with me or you're not.
Make her ask for the details.
That's one. Second, don't look like you're shy about money. Although you can be, and you obviously don't want to blow a bunch of money on the first date with a girl because you don't know if you're going to get any reciprocation from that. Don't act like everything is a difficult purchase.
Right.
If you are that financially broke, you should not be dating right now.
Right.
Okay. You have to look like you've got it because the woman at the end of the day is looking for somebody who's going to be a provider. So if every meal or every turn and every fun activity that you have to buy a ticket for is looking like it's hurting you physically, she's going to get turned off.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So these are the things you can physically actually do during the date. So take it step by step, one thing at a time. This is what I'm going to do during the date. How can I appear confident the whole date? Am I dressed my best? Do I stand up straight? Are my shoulders rolled back? Is my chest out? Right? Body language. All of those things are the things that are going to make you successful on the date. If you can check those boxes, that's when the girl's going to want the second date. That's when she's going to continue to communicate with you and be attracted to you.
Agreed.
Question 4 that we got. In your opinion, how far into dating should she start planning dates, picking up the tab, and etc.? So I guess this one came from a woman's perspective.
I thought about this one a bit.
Yeah.
The generic answer are, I would say, after a few dates. But to go more into detail on it, I don't expect her to really plan dates or to try to pay for something
Ever. Because the question is, how long?
I understand.
Yeah.
I think after a few dates, if you want to keep seeing a guy, it's good to it's a good way to show interest. Back to what I said earlier, to be like, hey, I want to go do this. I want to go do this thing, or let's go here, kind of thing. And she it doesn't even have to be anything crazy. It could be like, you're going to go see a comedy show or something, and she's kind of got the night planned out, like what she wants to do with you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's great. I think a woman is wrong for not at least offering to pay after a few dates or a couple of dates, whatever.
Contribute.
Yeah. If she's into you,
yeah,
there's an issue there. If she's not at least offering, I think from the man's perspective, you should not allow her to pay if you are interested in her as well.
Okay. I'm just getting your perspective first.
Now, there is a caveat to that. Let's say it's something more extravagant, and you're like, oh, that may be, that may not be a sensible purchase right now.
Sure.
Right. At that point, or like she wants to go to a concert and tickets are like $500 a piece. Ooh, yeah, that's slow down there, cowgirl. Like, that's a little crazy.
Unless you got it like that.
Right. Unless you got it like that. At that point, that's when she should go, oh, that's okay. I want to do this with you. I will pay for it. Oh, okay. Well, that's a big green
That's
flag.
a sign of interest, right? That's yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think that there's a specific time. I have been. I'll give you a personal experience. I've gone to a spot. It's a rooftop club bar, right? It was a beautiful night. Wasn't even going to go. And I went with a buddy last minute, showed up probably 10:30, 11 o'clock. We usually try to get ready way earlier than that. And seen a girl there, good looking, whatever. I was like, okay, I got to approach her. Let's say hello. I went and I approached very simply. Hey, my name's Anthony. Just wanted to introduce myself. I thought you looked really pretty tonight. First thing she says to me was, you're not from around here, are you? I said, well, what makes you say that? She said, because guys don't approach me. I'm usually more intimidating, she says. I said, okay. And then I said, well, I need to go get another drink. Do you want to go grab a drink? Because the conversation was going somewhere, it seemed. So her friend that she was with also needed a drink. Her friend was very drunk. So was not going to get her own drink. She was dancing literally in front of the speaker like this, like she didn't hear it. So she must have had a killer headache in the morning. She was gone. Like that thing was loud, and she was just like Night at the Roxbury into it. So she's there, and I go, okay, yeah, let's go get drinks. So she's like, okay, I'll go get one too for her and me. So we go over to the bar. She grabs my hand and drags me over to the bar.
Oh.
Okay. We get there. She says, no, I got it. And takes out her card and pays for my drink and their 2 drinks. And she said, it wouldn't be right of me to have you pay for my friend's drink too. So I'll just get this round.
You're in.
That right there. I know it's not the conventional norm, but it stuck out as a moment to a man because it's so different. So this is just my little drop of knowledge for ladies. If you like a dude that actually is coming to talk to you, flip the script.
Yes.
Don't worry about being traditional anymore. Do this. Do something different. If you show interest to a man, he does not get that ever.
No.
We just talked about standing out in a crowd. We just talked about how does a guy stand out? Well, girls, how do you stand out? Don't be the normal girl. Do something like that. Impress us right off the bat. I'm definitely calling that girl tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, hey, what are we doing tomorrow? And it's not even about the financial part of it. I don't care if you buy me a drink ever again. It's the fact that you went out of your way to do that. And I know that you're not just bringing me out for free shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're actually interested in having a conversation with me.
Mm-hmm.
You broke down the first barrier within 4 minutes of me talking to you for the very first time.
Here's some more game for the ladies. We always talk about going out and doing fun dates, whether, whatever it is. You go to a park or for an event, or, you go do mini golf or go-karts, whatever, or an arcade, something fun like that. And you want to see the guy after dinner's not planned. Hey, let's get dinner. I'm buying. How you feel about that? That made me be like, oh, are you sure? Like, I would still pay. I would not.
I would still take the card outright and just be like, don't worry about it. I got it.
But just offering to do that, oh my God, that would. I'm like you said, I'm calling her tomorrow.
There's no amount of words to express what actual female interest feels like to a man with how much we get rejected or turned down. When you finally get somebody who's like, holy crap, they actually like me.
There's a reason.
It's amazing.
There's a reason why they call men dogs. What happens when you say, oh, you're such a good boy? How happy does your dog get? Men are the same way.
That's right.
Men are the exact same way.
Yeah. That's all we need.
You make that little tail start wagging, and he's yours.
Little belly rub, a little low below the belly, whatever it is. It goes a long way. So
don't get scared if you see the pink.
Yes. Yes. Then I just asked, do you want to touch it? And see where it goes. Yes. So as far as I guess that goes, picking up the tab, I don't have a set timeline. I think it should definitely happen. At least an offer sooner than later from the ladies. Again, there's no downside to it.
No, not at all.
You can do it on the first date. You can do it on the 6th date. There's no downside. I want you to do it sooner than later, but I don't think that there's a downside of offering. I'm never going to look at her and go, ew, what's wrong with this girl? She wants to pay. That's never going to cross my mind.
I think on a first date, though, if it's like the primary thing that you're doing, not just like picking up a beer or, let's go to dinner after I'm buying kind of thing. I think if it's something like you do and then pay for after,
depends.
If she tries to pay and she's not acting like overly enthusiastic about doing that, to me, I'm like, oh, she didn't have fun. She's just paying so she doesn't feel bad about it, and we're going to go on.
Well, but what do you think about this? My experience, what I just expressed, was a first encounter. It wasn't really a first date, right? It was the first time we met. A little different. If we're actually out on a date and I invited her and I asked her to come out on a date, obviously I'd start paying. But let's go back to my normal analogy of like, let's go somewhere fun. Let's say it's mini golf or it's an arcade or it's go-karts or something, right? And I pay for the first initial experience. What if she says, hey, I'm having a ton of fun, and goes and says, let me refill the game card again. Well, throws another $30-$40 on it.
So that's different from what I'm talking about.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. But there's never a downside for the woman to start showing that interest and initiative. If she's willing to dig in her pocket, it's going to blow the guy's mind, and it's also going to show actual interest. Because a lot of hesitation that men have in these days is, am I being taken advantage of? And is this girl a gold digger? If we can get that out of the way early, our fears are gone.
Let's be honest here. All women are gold diggers. Some hide their shovels better than others.
Well, of course. At the end of the day,
we're not saying that like a bad thing. It's just
how we're wired genetically.
Yes.
I guess to give a little bit of context is like every woman wants a guy to be a provider, right? They want somebody to financially support the family, help, buy the house, do whatever it is. They want their man to be the breadwinner in most cases. So if that's the case, you are technically still chasing the quote unquote gold, right?
And all you women who think you earn enough money, there's a reason why you're not dating a guy who makes what you make or makes less than you. And you want to date a guy that makes more still.
It's very rare. And we're talking about majorities like we always do. And not, there's outliers that do hang out with guys that are brokies, but
yeah, very, very, very few. And if that guy is broke, he's probably taller than average, very good looking.
Yeah.
He's got something.
She's sticking around for other reasons, right? Yeah. The next question. A sign that indicates a guy is dating to find a relationship. Also clearly from a female, this question.
So specifically to answer that question directly, I think if a guy, it's a lot of things that he doesn't do, or at least for me, signs that I would, things I would not do that give that sign, right? So like, I'm probably not trying to get into her pants the first night. And I know you and I argue about that. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But I'm unless she's acting like she's willing, I'm probably not. I'm like, if this is something I want to take serious and I respect, I'm probably not trying to get
I'd say with respect, I think you should always try, because you do want to show attraction. Men that don't show attraction early get put into the friend zone early.
I agree, but I think there's ways to show physical attraction without trying to get into her pants.
I mean,
right? Like you can go in for a kiss. There's playful touching.
Yeah, but that's, in my opinion, that's still trying to get in her pants.
I can grab her.
I'm just saying, not literally pulling her pants off, but going in for physical attraction, trying to make out, trying to kiss, trying to touch her, whatever. That still could lead to getting in her pants if she allows it. All of those things.
Well, sure, but
right? That's kind of what I'm saying. So you always want to try, but with respect to when she cuts it. As soon as she says not this far, this, finds that time to say no or moves away, that's where you're respectful and say, got it, no worries. Absolutely. I get it.
If a guy is only hitting you up to like hang out at night and like just chill, you're not actually going and doing anything. You're not meeting any of his friends. He doesn't talk about family. You fit a very specific role in his entertainment. Yeah, he is definitely not dating you to find a relationship.
Yeah.
I think if a guy talks about his family to a girl he's interested in, at least a guy that wants a relationship in, like a family setting, I think that's a good sign. I would never talk about my family to a girl that I wouldn't take seriously. I probably wouldn't tell her too much about myself either. So like if a guy I think is super reserved and not opening up to you, that could be a sign as well.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm going to reverse the question. And I think think of yourself as a woman for a moment here. And I'm going to talk to the ladies and say, if the role was reversed, what is something that you think indicates that a woman is ready for a relationship? First, let's start there. And the reason being is if you think about it and say, a woman that's ready for a relationship is not dressing a certain way, not acting a certain way, all of the things that we always talk about, right? Keeping the promiscuity aside and looks like a good actual girl. That's kind of what we want, but what does she want in a guy? Let's do it from the woman's perspective. I guess that's where I'm going with this. As a woman, what would you be looking for in a guy to put him in, like men do, in the sex only category versus the relationship category?
Emotional interest.
Okay.
I guess to elaborate on that, outside of just, he's only ever trying to get into your pants, the relationship is physical. He seems to care about maybe not necessarily what you have to think, but what you have going on. He kind of listens to you. If you want advice, he may offer it.
Okay. So all of the things that you just listed off, you're finding ways as a woman to disclude this man based on income, his relationships, his reactions to your certain questions. Is he showing interest? It could be all the other things we've talked about: his height, his weight, his this, his that, right? All of the stuff. As a woman, you're very picky with your choice of, I'm going to date this guy, but not the other category for women is, I'm not just going to have sex with this guy. The other category is friend zone. Women's categories are different. It's relationship, friend zone. Now take that exact same script, flip it. We have relationship, sex only. Mm-hmm. We don't have a friend zone category. Mm-hmm. Okay. But what we're doing is the exact same thing. We're listening to what you're saying as the woman, and we're going to say, is she worthy of a relationship? Or does she say something outlandish that makes me think that she's a hoe and she gets put in the sex only category? It's literally the same concept. So to answer the woman's perspective of this question, if you asked me, I can't tell how a guy is ready for a relationship or not. What are you saying? What are you doing, and how are you portraying yourself? Every guy is going to go into a date hoping that you are the one and you are the relationship. At least they should be.
Of the time, yeah.
At least they should be. Okay? Because if they're not, then they either A, have already a preconceived notion of you from your Instagram or some kind of social media, and they've already made their decision on what category you're in, or in the very rare chance, they're literally just looking for hookups because they know that they have options. And that guy is probably a very successful guy. You're only going to run into that with the top tier guys. If you're running into a normal average man that makes an average income and does not have a bunch of girls at his disposal, he's going in for a relationship
Until you give him a reason.
until you give him a reason not to.
Yeah.
That's the answer. That's the answer. And it's the same thing from the woman's perspective. You as a woman are probably going into that date thinking, I'm going to get a relationship out of this, until that guy gives you a reason not to. Whether he doesn't meet your criteria, he's not tall enough, he doesn't make enough money, he doesn't this, that, he doesn't, he's not charming enough, he's not exciting enough. They have more checks, of course, than we do. But they're doing the same thing. They're going through their checklist and finding ways to exclude you from being relationship quality. And at the end of the day, you may just be the guy who bought her a free meal.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that wasn't her intentions starting the date. But it definitely got to that point based on what you said and did. It's the same thing. Women just have a bigger checkbox, a longer list of items than we do.
Don't talk about therapy. Don't talk about exes.
Don't talk about problems. No, problems aren't good.
Don't talk about
No
your
baggage.
political views if they're a little extreme.
Mm-hmm. Religious beliefs, all that stuff can wait until
If
later
you
on.
have thousands of followers on Instagram, do not tell him. Do not show him, unless he already knows. I mean,
He might already know in this world. He's going to look you up before the date.
Women are not going to like this, but if you want any man to take you more serious, do not post revealing photos on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I know we live in a society where it's all about body positivity and woman empowerment, and I'm a stronger boss, independent boss bitch because I posted a picture of myself in a thong and a string bikini. But
I go one further and say, if you're just that girl who's turned around and just doing the pose with your butt and some tight pants, that's enough.
I agree.
You're showing off the goods, and I get it while you're single, but you either have to have the plan of taking that down,
yes,
once you're in a relationship, or just don't post it at all.
And the argument I hear from women a lot is, oh, well, you shouldn't objectify me. That shouldn't, okay, well,
it's not objectifying. It's literally just qualifying you as you're not wife material.
But it is objectifying if we stick them in the sex only category for it, because we're like, well, we wouldn't date this person or have a relationship with them, but we totally want to get in their pants. You objectified yourself first because you intentionally posted that picture with your ass hanging out, with your boobs hanging out, showing off what you're working with. We all like it. We're not saying we don't like it.
Yeah.
We're saying if you want a man to take you serious,
that's right.
You cannot objectify yourself.
There is a very big difference.
And you are objectifying yourself because you know what you're doing posting that. You're not posting it for yourself. You're posting it so that other people can look at it and be like, oh my God, you're so sexy. You're so hot. You get Sims in your DMs wanting to pay your rent and shit like that. No. You know what you're doing. Don't cap.
That's, yeah. I think they do. I think that the girls that are doing that aren't aware of the repercussions.
I think it's more of willful ignorance. They refuse.
They just don't care yet because they're too young and they're too pretty, and they don't care until 10 years from now.
Their consequences have not caught up to them.
That's right. The repercussions have not. They don't understand them yet. So, and that's fine. I mean, I was a freaking idiot in my early 20s too. I get it, but
it's different for guys.
It is. We do different things. Our repercussions usually don't follow us unless we get in trouble with the law or something of that nature where it can linger. But
I like the next question.
Number 6, right?
Yes, number 6.
What's something that must be established early on in dating in order to build a good relationship?
Very broad strokes. Trust.
Okay.
Respect.
Okay.
Intentions.
Yep.
How you communicate.
Communication.
Right?
Yep.
Because So, what are reasons why people break up? You can't trust them. They
Mhm.
cheated on you, or you think they're going to cheat on you, and they don't want to deal with that, right?
Right.
Respect. How
Yep.
many women do you see talking down on men on social media and shit like that?
A ton. Every day.
Intentions. What do you want out of this? Are you just trying to get a free meal? You trying to get somebody to fly you out? Or do you want a long-term lasting relationship and potentially marriage and children, right?
Right.
How you communicate goes back to, do you talk to me in a respectful tone? Do you trust me to make decisions for us once we become serious, right? Are you going to speak to me in a way that you can communicate with me? Or are you just specifically the woman to the man? Or are you just going to talk to me in a way that it just sounds like this and you're just nagging all the time? That goes for the man too.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to convey things to your woman successfully, because you need her to understand things. She's not going to understand everything you talk about. She's not going to side with you on everything.
No.
But you need to be able to deliver it in a respectful way to where she doesn't feel attacked and she doesn't feel, it's pretty much like how I've been coming out this entire time. Like, you can't just be hard and to the point. You got to soften it up a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, I think direct conversation is very tough for women to digest, for one. I think we don't touch on enough how important a woman finding a man that she deems intelligent is.
Oh, God, yes, very much so.
I don't think I see a lot of people talk about that. Other dating people and podcasts and things of that nature, that we don't. They
do. They say it in a different way. They say that women want a man who's better than them.
Yeah, but that's so broad again. You want a guy, and the reason I thought of it is because you said about you have to be able to understand my judgment calls and my decisions once we're together, right?
Mm-hmm.
That comes down to the woman trusting the man's intelligence.
Yeah.
She has to know that he's a smart motherfucker, and if he is saying something, it's probably right. And that goes back to respecting your guy, right? Because if you think he's a dummy, you're not going to respect half the crap that comes out of his mouth.
No.
And that's, your relationship is doomed from day one.
I work with someone who's like that. I'm like, I feel so bad for her husband. Yeah. He's an average guy, average intelligence, maybe slightly below, but like, I feel so bad for him. Listen, like, I've told her before in a joking way, like, I feel so bad for your husband. The way you talk about him, like, I'm like,
that's a big reflection.
Rough.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Any girl that talks about their significant other negatively, it's a big reflection of how their relationship goes.
Yeah. I will say this as well. I have dated plenty women who are like, they will acknowledge, like, it hurts them to acknowledge it, but they acknowledge that I am smarter than them. And then they're just too stupid to listen, or they just don't have, like, they still don't respect me.
They still don't want to hear it.
So anyone out there, for the men, just because she can recognize your intelligence doesn't mean she's going to listen to you. It doesn't mean she's not going to be the most stubborn person you've ever met in your life. And women, if you understand this guy is intelligent and it's somebody you want to be with, you need to learn to step back and say, okay, I trust your judgment. I may not understand this completely, but I trust your judgment.
Yeah. That's good. I think you hit it all right on the nail there. Let's go through this. Maybe next couple.
Yeah, we got a lot more.
So we'll probably wrap it up here soon. But what makes you decide you're ready for exclusivity?
A woman. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's obvious for both genders, but I don't know if it's obvious from a female lens. So I want to hear what you have to say.
If I want to be exclusive with a woman, she shows the things that we just talked about. You know, she doesn't necessarily have to trust me with serious things.
But what makes you decide you want to be exclusive? Like from the access of, like, I guess the question, the way I interpret it is not what is she doing to make you want to be exclusive with her specifically. Before you ever get on a dating app, before you ever go out on a date, before you ever meet anybody.
Oh, what makes me
makes you
specifically-
as a man say, okay, I want to get exclusive?
I think the majority of men have kind of a eureka moment where they think about wanting a family, wanting children, if that's something that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes in society. Well, maybe not so much now, but the traditional way. And most men are traditional, whether they admit it to you or not, or women want to agree. Most men, in some sense, are traditional because we're biologically ingrained to be. But they have that moment where they
I
want
might have to disagree with that point, but I'll tell you why after. Remind me.
Okay, yeah. So, but they have that realization that like they want children, they want a family, and I think that is a biological factor that men are driven to want to be a protector, provider. I've had so many men tell me like you just don't know how empty your life is until you have children, and you have children, and that it's almost like it gives you another reason.
I can vouch for that one.
Yeah, to keep on living, right? Like it's, and we're biologically ingrained to want those things. So I think when a guy finally has that moment, is probably when he's ready to be or to
Exclusive.
date for exclusivity. Yeah, you disagree with me, so
I disagree on the point of you think most men are traditional or wanting to be.
In some, at least a little bit in some
And
sense.
here's why I disagree. I think your top tier men do not want that. I think they want all the variety that they can get now because they have the options.
Well, right. Why else would they make all that money?
That's
but
one.
that's also like what the point.
So now let's talk about the bottom of the bucket. I think the bottom of the bucket is all simps, and they're doing things not the traditional way either because they don't have their own shit together. They don't have their own life in order, and they're letting the woman run the damn show.
Well, yeah, but polar opposites don't speak for, the extremes on either side, right. Even when you combine them, they don't speak for the majority as a whole.
It's so you're talking about the middle class of the men.
Yeah, we're looking at the I don't know why it's escaping me.
Let me ask you this then. What percentage of men are simps? Because I don't think it's just the bottom.
I think it's a lot more than. I think it's a lot more than
how many men have not, and not even simps. Let's clump these couple of factors together. Simps that don't get girls and just beg online, OnlyFans, subscribers, etc. Guys who are in unhappy relationships and won't let their lady wear the pants, or guys that date but unsuccessfully over and over and over and over again. If all those guys are the same category, how many men are we talking about?
I mean, when you put it that way, that's a good chunk of men.
That's what I'm talking about.
But that doesn't mean that men don't have. So I think that's a response to how society is, how culture has pushed social norms.
Because I think men are more feminine than ever, which is the opposite of being traditional.
I agree, but if we go to war tomorrow and half of us get drafted, or we're just in a constant state of uncertainty, what do you think is going to happen? Men are going to have to get in touch with those biological urges, right?
Figure it out,
it's going to shift, right? You're going to figure it out, or you're going to die.
Right.
There's
so
no
a fight or flight moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like it's not that. I don't think that it's so much that men are incapable.
Yeah.
I think it's where society has pushed them, and maybe they themselves feel they are incapable, or it's just a response to how the times are these days.
It's definitely a response to how the times are, because the same reason we have gentlemen that we meet that are like-minded to us, where we're kind of awakening. Like, I didn't think like this even 5 years ago.
I started thinking like this 5 years ago.
You know what I mean? Like, that's probably when it just started dawning on me as well. Like, probably right during COVID, maybe right after. Once I actually got out and viewed it for myself. I never thought about this kind of stuff until I started going to bars, to go to clubs, and do all these things like that I kind of passed on when I was in my younger years. I was more focused on different things, right? Being healthy in shape, doing et cetera, and not drinking, et cetera. So I think, man, I don't think enough men have awakened to the reality of the situation yet.
I agree.
You know, and so I think that's one thing holding the society back, and I think we're getting there. Podcasts and shows like this one and the other ones that we have watched in the past, they all are slowly getting a bigger fan base and figuring out what we've got more haters this week. I don't know if you've seen them all.
I haven't looked at it yet, but I will tonight.
They're all over this TikTok. They're everywhere. I look at these guys' pages. One of them was I don't even know if it was his actual picture, but his profile picture is some giant fat dude just sitting on a couch with Cheetos or some shit.
It looks like
chips.
that thumbnail what we did.
Like, what the hell? Like, you're in here commenting on what we're saying about.
Can you get on a plane and only buy one plane ticket?
No, he could not. This gentleman could not. It strikes me as odd when a man, I get it from the ladies, from how we're talking, they're not going to agree with it because a lot of what we're saying is not uplifting to ladies sometimes. It's the hard truths that they don't want to hear, right? It's not like we're being mean or we're just going out of our way to belittle them. We're just saying the hard truths that most people don't tell them because they want to fuck them.
I was a little mean today.
Maybe. I never try to be mean. I try to give you a realistic perspective of this is actually how reality is. I'm giving you to you from the man's perspective because you don't see it. You're not being taken advantage of drinks. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've talked about this story on the podcast before. I literally went out with two friends one night. Okay. They brought these two girls over straight to the bar, which they already knew. Don't do. We never buy drinks right away. Ever. They already made that mistake because they like these two girls. I was closest to the bar, so they're asking, go buy drinks. I knew he's going to pay me back. So I was like, okay, sure. Let's make this a smooth transition. So I order the drinks for everybody. They get their drinks. And these two guys are standing behind them trying to talk. Everybody gets their drinks. I'm handing them to all five of us, whatever. I kid you not, within a minute, maybe 30 seconds, they were at another table 4 feet away talking to other guys with the drinks in hand.
Hell no.
I cannot make this stuff up. Whoever you girls are, you are the reason men speak like this now to women. You are the reason you can open the fucking car door your goddamn self. You are the reason I'm not going to get down on a knee. You are the reason. We can keep going.
Yeah.
But you are the reason you can buy your own first date. You are the reason for all of these things that I will not do for you anymore. You remember that nice time for your birthday when we put rose petals on the bed and all these pretty things and had a nice bottle of champagne for us and we were going to celebrate your party with the lights down low and the music on and it was real romantic leading up to a nice warm bath for you to jump in? No, you don't remember that? Because you fucked it up. We're not doing it anymore. You idiots. I don't understand.
I have seen on dating apps a lot princess treatment and you better open my car door and stuff like that. And I didn't harp on it because it fits into what we talked about.
They're so delusional.
You literally don't get chivalry if you don't act befitting of chivalry. That's probably the best way to put it. If you can't understand that, God help you.
Chivalry was created because in the old days, women were considered inferior. We took care of them. We protected them. We financially supported them. All of the things. And I agree with women at this point where times have changed. Feminism has existed now for countless years. Women have gotten their own rights. They are allowed to free speech. They can do what they want. They can vote. They can do all these things. But understand that with all of those things, you lose privileges as well. You cannot have all of the privileges of chivalry while gaining all of the new benefits of being a boss bitch. It doesn't work.
I can't quote it verbatim. I tried to find it real quick.
I feel bad for the women that actually deserve it. Let me say that too.
Yeah.
If you're a girl who doesn't do all of this nonsense and you're just a good honest, sweet young lady looking for a fucking date,
Hit me up.
hit him up. But also, I honestly feel for you because you don't deserve what's happening. But it's the same thing for the men that don't deserve this treatment from these vile women.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. There are people out there, and we are talking just majorities, not everybody. There are people out there that do not deserve it, by all means. And I am thoroughly sorry that you have to date in a world like this now. But this is what your counterparts have created.
Yeah, it is a direct response to specifically how women move and operate. Overwhelming majority. Not talking about the people that you just spoke to, or talking about the good ones who don't make up the statistic. But yeah, I can't tell you how many women I have seen lately complain about, or just in general, about how men ain't shit, how, I can't get a man to, respond to me or to take me seriously or this, that, and the other. And then I'm sitting here getting matches on dating apps, way more matches than I thought I would get in a week. And you're not communicating. You're unmatching immediately. Like, you're telling me to go follow you on Snapchat or Instagram and then not even reading the message I sent. What you are literally...
I will tell you, Snapchat, you can see the messages without it actually showing up as seen. There's a way around it.
Oh, well.
I can show you that one later. But that's a side note.
But anyway.
So they might see it and then just not open it all the way. I learned that from some hoe back in the day.
Well, but anyway, that just speaks more to my point. Like, you as a whole, may not be speaking to you specifically if you're watching this, but women as a whole have created this environment and we are responding to it. To loop it back to what we were originally talking about, which was
I don't even remember the original question.
So we were not the original. What makes you decide you're ready for exclusivity? And then we got on to how you were talking about how the overwhelming majority of men don't have those natural urges anymore.
That's right.
I think that comes with maturity.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that society has moved in a way that not just men, women as well.
Yeah.
What's the word? The infantilization of both genders, right? You're going longer and longer where people are staying at home. They're not having responsibilities. They're not getting out and getting jobs or living in a way that is becoming of an adult.
True. The economy doesn't help, but I agree with you.
No, the economy doesn't help, but
I won't put all the blame on people, but yeah, it sucks. It's going that way. I have multiple friends that are 27, 28 years old and still living at home.
Yeah.
It's like,
and I mean, I moved back after I split from my last ex, but I was out within a year.
Yeah.
That's
acceptable.
And
you got to do things sometimes.
I would consider myself a late bloomer.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was still trying to get my shit together,
because of the economy
in my early 20s.
Yeah.
It just is what it was.
It was what it was. To my quick answer to the question, women, when do you know you're ready for exclusivity? Let me ask you a question. Do you want one guy who fulfills all of your needs, or do you want multiple partners? Overwhelming amount of women are going to say one guy that fulfills all their needs that they love, admire, and adore.
Yes, but then you're going to move and talk to 10 different guys at once.
Because they can't find the right one. That's the problem. As men,
you're looking in the wrong places.
No, it's because their standards are too high.
That too.
They think that they're going to get...
Yeah, they're looking in the wrong place.
A Tristan Tate and just show up with a multimillionaire that looks good and he's tall and he's charming and he can do what he wants. Every torta thinks they can pull that guy. But guess what? It ain't happening. So for women, they're always ready for exclusivity if the right guy comes along. That's the answer for them. For men, they are ready for exclusivity as soon as they can accept that they don't have all the options. That can happen early for some people, and that can happen late for some people. As soon as men decide, oh, shit, I don't have all the options in the world. Not every girl likes me. This dating market is trash. That's when the guy says, all right, let's get a girlfriend and settle down.
That's a pretty good answer.
That's the reality of the situation.
I have no qualms with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the marketplace determines when you're ready. What do you think? One or two more, or what?
Um,
One more would be about half the questions.
I was gonna say one or two more would be. I would say the next three, if we can get through them quickly, probably go into what we're talking about before we can
Okay.
save the rest.
We'll see how long they take. Let's go with this one. So, when you're ready to ask a girl to be exclusive, is there anything that will deter you? An example would be her still seeing other people, something you haven't yet experienced together, etc. I feel like I'm going to go off on a big cook on this one.
Yeah, I could cook too because I was swiping while I was thinking about this shit.
This is a loaded question. I don't know who sent this one, but you're trolling.
So seeing multiple people, absolutely, you will never be taken serious. If a guy has any inkling that you are seeing more than one person, you will never be taken serious. It doesn't matter what you say, what you do. If he does, he's a simp. There's absolutely no way you should be accepted
He's
after
too
that.
desperate, and then you're just not going to appreciate him anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a waste of time.
Acting too independent. I don't need you to be a boss ass bitch. I need you to be ready to be in a relationship and be
Or turn it off and turn it on.
Yeah.
Go be the boss bitch at work.
Yeah.
When you come home, be feminine.
Compromise.
Yeah.
It takes compromising, right?
Yeah.
I could not get it through to the last girl I dated long term. She would get home before me. I would have to get up at like 5 a.m. I would to get to work, because I had to drive like an hour and a half because we lived closer to her job than we did mine, and sit in traffic. And then I would work 10 plus hour days, 5 days a week, and sometimes Saturdays. I was putting in like 50 plus hours a week just to keep the lights on. And she wasn't helping me at all with the bills at the time.
Yeah.
She would get home within 10 minutes. We both had dogs. She would walk her dogs, and then my dog would just be sitting in the kennel for another 3-4. Exactly. Shit like that. If she ever left like clothes in the laundry.
That's crazy.
Yeah. If she ever left clothes in the laundry.
She was really about 50-50.
Oh, yeah. Not even 50-50. It was like 70-30. And then she would give me shit saying that like the room where I kept all my clothes in, because she completely hogged the closet. They were just kind of.
I'm familiar with that
They were just kind of everywhere. Like, okay, my clothes weren't neat, but you don't use that room at all. That has no effect on you. Everything that affected us, like, I took care of.
Yeah.
The kitchen was never dirty. The floors were clean. Like, she would vacuum or sweep every once in a while, but like for the most part, I did almost everything else. And then she would sit there and bitch and complain about how I wasn't clean. I'm like, bitch, I do more than you. But anyway, like laundry, I would do her laundry, put it away exactly where it goes. Mine.
You simped.
Yeah, she would just, yeah.
That's your problem. That's why she took advantage of it.
She would drop it in the middle of that room where I would put my clothes up. She
hard.
wouldn't even fucking fold it or nothing.
Oh, bro. You know what I would have done? I would have started stuffing them in her pillow. All the dirty panties and everything. Just enjoy that. Bro, you'll learn real quick where you're going to put your fucking clothes at the end of the
I
night.
would be like, why can't you walk my dog? How come I do this for you, but you won't do this for me, kind of thing, across the board. And I could never get a straight answer out of her. And I guess I was just too young and
that's what it was.
Too dumb to be like,
you suck as a girlfriend. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, get out.
Yeah, that's what it is. We don't have the same knowledge that we have now back then. And I think that's where we get a lot of this hate from.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting this perspective from these young guys out there in the world
who have no experience.
They have no experience, and they have no idea where we're coming from, and they just haven't lived it yet.
Yeah. So like, I'll have to look at the comments, but how many bitches have you been with?
Listen, I don't care how many. It's guaranteed not as many as me.
No, not even close. The last thing I have written down here is things that make me think I cannot introduce you to my mom or family. Some piercings are fine. Crazy piercings, like you've got like cheek piercings, eye piercings, like multiple lip rings, more than one nose ring. That's like not just a stud. Bad tattoos, kids are baggage, or like you talk about a promiscuous past. If your Instagram looks like an OnlyFans model's Instagram, no, absolutely not. Like it's not happening.
Yeah, at least, again, let's caveat, at least from the guy that you actually want.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to
guy
get
that
the
she
guy
wants.
that will be exclusive with you, but he's going to not be the guy that you actually want.
Yeah. And if you say that, oh, well, you can get people, you've enjoyed dating people that, we're okay with those things. Okay. Why aren't you dating them now? Where are they? How
Yeah.
come you're not still with them?
Right. One of the things in that example that they wrote down here is something that you haven't experienced together.
I just thought about
My mind wanders when I read that.
I just immediately think, what are you saying? You didn't give it up?
Something that you haven't experienced, like that makes me think, what have you not? Are you trying to go have threesomes first? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to experience that is going to stop you from wanting to be in an exclusive relationship?
I mean, I'm definitely not being exclusive with a girl I haven't slept with.
Interesting. Okay, so let's bring this up. I went live today on TikTok for about a good almost hour, 50 minutes.
I should caveat that if she's a virgin, I'm like not pushing that. Yeah.
So
But your typical woman. Yeah. Like
the gentleman had questions. So obviously it came in small doses because there were small little comments periodically throughout, right? The stream. This is what I got in a nutshell. He's in the dating phase. He's been dating a girl for 2 months. They have not had sex. They are both Christian. They go on dates or hang out every weekend. She has met his family. He has not met hers. I'm trying to make sure I hit all the basics.
I'm not
here.
laughing at the guy. Like I feel bad for him because I've been in that situation.
And he also had the question of when is it too early to propose? So
God.
You can imagine the advice that I've given him.
Yeah.
Okay. The short version of it, because it was again like an hour stream of talking and going through different scenarios with him. The short version is this weekend alone, right now, this weekend when you hang out with her, you have to ask her out. You have to seal the deal. He said that he does not think he's in the friend zone, which I didn't get into details, but I assumed that meant that they're hooking up, or at least they're doing something other than just sex, right? Because if they're not having sex, what else are they doing? I did tell him 2 months is a very long time to be dating a girl on and off and be intimate without actually getting somewhere, unless you're very religious. If you guys are both very religious,
go ahead, sorry.
No, and you trust that this girl is that person and hasn't had a promiscuous past, then I kind of get it. Maybe if she's waiting for marriage, right?
Did he go in? Did he tell you what denomination they are?
No.
Okay, that would tell me a lot about the woman.
The woman.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know enough to say one way or the other, but he said that she was very pretty, blah blah blah. Right. So okay, she's an attractive girl. She's not putting up for 2 months. I told him to be very careful because if she's not willing to, if you ask it and propose it this weekend, hey, let's be exclusive, let's girlfriend boyfriend this shit, and she's not down, you have to find out what the reason is why, and you have to be okay with cutting your losses.
You have to immediately, yeah.
Yeah. You can't just keep following this endless trail.
I think it's a red flag if a woman doesn't want to introduce you to her family.
I don't know if she doesn't want to. They just haven't. And I kind of asked him. They met through mutual friends already. They have the same friend group. So that I was like, well, then maybe. See, I didn't get the full context because they were very short text, right, back and forth. But he told me that I don't know how he met his family. She could have met his family just in passing because they were all hanging out around his family if they're in the same friend group. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't like an specific thing.
Still.
And I told him, well, take this into consideration. How did she meet them? Did you say, hey, these are my friends? Or, hey, this is the girl I'm dating when you introduced her to your family? These are all very small, intricate details that you have to be accepting of with yourself.
I mean, if a woman is okay with meeting your family and she doesn't introduce you to hers, to me, that's a red flag.
But again, take it out of context. you've met my mom randomly because we watch UFC or something together.
We're
Right?
all-
You
we're
see what I'm
also-
saying?
We're also not boning.
I know, but they're not boning either. That's my point. You see
We're
what I'm saying?
not in an intimate
I
relationship.
know,
we
but
are
that's what I'm saying.
homies.
If I had friends, a group of friends, guys and girls, like this group is, and they were just all hanging out, and the parents happened to be nearby, she could have met his parents that way. You see what I'm saying? And not through a "hey, come meet my parents" kind of setting.
If homie's watching this, please talk to us more. I want to find out more about this.
I
'cause
told him to give me a follow up after this weekend. I'm
'cause
very curious to see how this plays out.
Well, I almost want to know more now because I guess it'll be too late by the time he sees this episode. But without more context, I'm not seeing a lot of there's a lot of things are going ringy dingy dingy.
It's not good. No, it's not. It's not a good situation to be in. Anytime you're waiting that long to seal the deal, I told him most of the time you're in the friend zone already. You just don't realize it.
Unless they're being like physically intimate past like soft kissing. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just, that's why I said I don't have the context of what they're doing. Are they making out? Or are they doing touchy-feely shit? Or are they not? If they're not, then you're probably in the friend zone.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but you got to watch out, homie. There are so many women who come to the church who are very good looking, and you're like, gosh, how come she's not wifed up yet? There's a reason. She's probably got a past if she checks all the other boxes.
She's the devil. She's just trying to come in and absolve her sins.
And I have seen this situation too many times. I've been in a situation like this once. These women, man, they'll be like, oh, well, he's a good guy. And she'll keep you around for attention and just kind of lead you on and make you think that something's going to happen.
That too. How the women will have different friends in different situations.
Yeah,
So one guy she fucks, church. One guy she's getting money from. One guy is there for the emotional support.
The God-fearing women are in my experience, freakiest behind closed doors.
Really?
Especially Catholics.
Interesting. So that was my take on the weird, what are we waiting on?
Yeah, I got to hear more about that guy. What time are we at?
It probably says it on the...
Oh, I thought you had the timer right there.
No, it just tells me the time.
That's fine.
We're probably at about an hour and a half almost. So I think it might be time to cut it.
Yeah.
We'll finish...
we can do with this question here.
This last one?
Yeah.
Okay. So how does it make you feel if she brings up exclusivity first? And does this impact your decision?
It can impact my decision.
Negatively or positively?
Positively.
Okay.
Depending on when she brings it up. If she wants to be exclusive after like one date or like 2 weeks, you better be like picture perfect. And there's nothing. Well, I know too much now. There's no way I would anyway.
2 weeks is okay, I think. 1 week is a little rushed, but 2 weeks is not bad.
Depending on if you see
how many times you're seeing them within that time.
Yeah. I think if there are no glaring red flags and you can see a relationship with this person, or I can see a relationship with that person, then that's showing intent and interest, and that's making my decision easier. It means that that can be a way to communicate to a guy that you are looking for a relationship, a long-term relationship or marriage, right? And it shows that you're serious about him, which again is hard for men to understand if you're not direct about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say about it, it doesn't impact my decision if you're still in the girlfriend category. It would only impact my decision on how I move going forward if I already put you in the fun category.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know what I mean? Because if you're in the fun category and then you're like, what are we going to be, girlfriend, boyfriend? I'll be like, oh, Jesus, here we go. You know what I mean? Yeah, now we can't have fun anymore. Because now you're getting too emotionally caught up in this whole thing. And I just can't see myself with you because you do X, Y, and Z.
But from the woman's perspective, I mean, you want to know that sooner than later, right?
Of course. But again, here's the problem. Let's just relate this to something more like human nature, bodily function, right? Let's say women can literally walk into any convenience store and choose what they want to eat for free every single week, whenever they want, whenever they're hungry. Men can only eat once every 2 weeks to a month. Okay. But if I hang out with you as a woman, I'm allowed to receive some of your benefits, and now I can eat when I want as well. But only when I'm with you. You've got the VIP pass. As a man, why would you expect me to give up my VIP pass?
I understand completely.
So the analogy, to transfer it over so people understand, the woman can have sex whenever she wants. She can get attention. She can get guys whenever she wants. She's a woman. That's her access to food at all times. The man cannot. He doesn't have that sexual access. He has to work really hard to find another girl that's willing to give it to him. But I can get it whenever I want as long as I'm with you as the woman. So in that scenario, you're asking a man to give up something very important to him just to make your feelings feel better. Most people don't have the self-discipline to do that. That's the best way to put it. The same
fair.
way like people can't diet properly because you don't have self-discipline to not eat that fucking cheeseburger or stick that donut in your mouth.
I'm going to eat a cheeseburger tonight.
Right? That's the same concept. If you don't have the self-discipline to put down that cake, then why would you expect a man to have the same self-discipline to put down that pussy? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. He's addicted to that pussy. So as long as you're giving it to him, he's going to do whatever he has to say and do to keep it. Until he can't.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree. I think the argument from women would be, well, okay,
Clip that shit.
Yeah. I think the argument from women then would be, well, then I'm just not going to sleep with him. And my rebuttal to that is, if you are not a virgin, you almost can't get away with not giving it up to a guy. It's like the conversation we had last episode when you specifically brought up threesomes, but
that was like two episodes
ago. Yeah,
the one that drove me nuts.
Yeah, specifically talked about threesomes, but that goes with sex too, right? Like, why would I? If I've got two farmers near me, one's 5 miles away, one's 10 miles away, the farmer closer to me is selling milk for $5 a bottle. The one 10 miles away is selling it for $2 a bottle. I'm going to go buy the one from the guy who's selling for $2 a bottle. Let's say my neighbor hears I got it for $2 a bottle from the guy 10 miles away. He's going to go to that farmer, and the farmer goes, oh, well, now it's $5. Well, what the hell? He only paid $2. Why am I paying more money for it? Why, as a man, do I have to work harder for something that you've already willingly given up?
That's a different situation, but that's the threesome situation again, yeah.
But still, like, you've already willingly given it up to someone, and for less. So if you are serious about me, if I am the guy, you think I'm the guy, why on God's green earth are you thinking that you can withhold from me? Figuratively speaking, obviously not like...
Sure.
But
I get what you're saying.
It's the same concept.
You're saying buy it at a premium versus, it's the same.
Yeah, which goes back to the conversation.
It's different than what I was talking about. I think it's a different concept.
Well, yes.
We're talking about just sex in general versus...
I understand.
Sex with somebody who's extra promiscuous.
Well, sex in general, sure. But, like, if I end up finding out... So, like, let's say a girl makes me wait 3 months. It'd be kind of crazy to wait that long if she's not a virgin in today's market, right? Especially if we're hanging out often.
No, there's no way.
Yeah,
I wouldn't wait more than 2 weeks. To be honest,
I'm not that unreasonable. But,
I'm very unreasonable. If I know that you have been sleeping around or something,
well, that's different.
Or just don't. There's no excuse that even if you have a boyfriend, etc. There's no excuse to wait that long. If you likes me or you don't, then you have to know within the 2 week period. If you don't, then what are we doing?
I mean, sure, I get that, but at the same time, I think it's I don't know. I want it, but at the same time, I feel like it's not good to pressure that a whole lot.
I don't pressure it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying if it doesn't come, don't expect me to keep talking to you.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm gonna cut my losses and move on. I'm not gonna continue entertaining somebody. The reason, let's really put the groundwork down on the floor here for a second. You're gonna make me.
Here we go.
Hold
I
on.
know how to get it out of them.
I just unplugged my headset with this one. Hold on. Okay. Listen. The reason that we are dealing with you women to begin with is to put our cocks in you. Okay? Do you understand that? If that wasn't a necessary urge, I would not talk to you. I would not deal with you. I would not court you. I would not buy you shit. I would not take you out on a date. I don't think I'd communicate with you. To be honest, I would walk by you like the crazy person in the subway that just is singing and rapping to themselves and just move on because you offer me no value. That's what I want from you. Okay? It is after the fact of intercourse that we can now discuss relationships. Let's be honest. The real reason a man, this is not just me, a man gets into a relationship with a woman is so that we do not have to be out on the streets anymore. We can come home, have sex when we want, and start a family.
Come home and come in.
Come home and come in. It doesn't make...
I can't argue. I can't
That's
argue.
why we deal with you.
Sex first and then
So if
everything
you
comes
don't
after.
do that,
Yeah.
why am I dealing with you?
I can't.
I'm not going to. You are a waste of time.
I can't
I will
argue.
go make some money. I will go do a business deal. I will do another podcast. I will benefit myself. Wasting time and effort on you does not benefit me.
You got me.
This is reality. We
You
have
got
to
me.
talk reality. That's the reality of the situation.
So, moral of the story is, if you still got it, don't give it up.
Women, why do you deal with men? Let's be honest with yourself. Because you're going to see this clip. You're going to
'cause
freak the fuck out, right?
It's a give and take, right?
Why do you deal with men? You
Men.
deal with men because what? You want provisioning.
Yes, provision,
You want
protection, and provision. Yeah, and then the
Now, if I didn't offer those things to you, and
they're
I
not
was
dealing
laying
with
in
you.
bed and somebody broke in the front door and I slacked you on the ass and said, "You got it, babe,"
It's like with the AI chatbot.
what would you say to me? You'd be like, "Why am I dealing with you?"
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
yeah, exact same thing. And it's just coming to terms with the fact that the exchange there is protection and provisioning for sex.
That's exactly what it is. There is a monetary, non-monetary exchange.
A
going on.
currency exchange.
Currency exchange, right? Yeah. There's a give and take. It's a quid pro quo.
There you go.
That's the best way to put it. Look that one up, you unintelligent.
And if you don't want to sleep with a guy, I
Yep.
guess, you convinced me. If you don't want to sleep with a guy, move on. Quit wasting time.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is training that man to move in a way that you don't want him to move. Okay. And you go, well, I'm done with him. Why does it matter to me? Well, because some other bitch is doing it. And then you're going to get that guy next. And he's
Mhm.
going to do it to you.
Mm-hmm. The guy you do want.
Yeah.
Random last thought. Instead of just ghosting people, for the love of fuck, just say not interested. Just one text, not interested. And leave it at that. Give people don't make them sit there and just ghost text you for 3-4 more times in a row. That hurts my soul looking at a guy do that. That's disgusting. I can't stand when I see a guy's text message and he's texted her like 6 times in a row and she still hasn't answered.
Yeah. No.
What the hell are you doing?
You might get to.
Holy. Crazy. So.
I have a few closing remarks.
Please.
These are directed at women, but I guess they could be in general.
God, Jesus, we're piling on at this episode. Go for it.
I was thinking we really might need to rebrand.
Towards women
Yeah,
instead.
help women. Yeah, make us go more viral, get more hate.
Oh,
Somebody
Lord.
will listen.
I ain't gonna follow it. I'll tell you that.
That's okay. Anyway, quit matching with people and not talking to them.
Mm.
Quit acting like you deserve the world.
Mm.
The more men get played, the more you get played in return.
Mm.
So if you don't want to get played, don't play games. Hold your friends accountable. Fix realistic standards. And be honest with yourself about what you want and what you deserve. Because a strong provider type man wants a feminine woman who can follow his lead. Not some boss bitch who wants to question them all the time. Not somebody who wants to play games or thinks that they can rack up a bunch of bodies before, oh, now I'm ready to settle down and you get what's left over. No self-respecting guy is gonna put up with that. Act like a hoe, get treated like a hoe.
Good. Very good.
That's all I got.
Very good. Yeah. Can't get better closing remarks than that. So that's all I got for this week. Hopefully we get some interviews going next week.
Yes. Ladies, let us know. Come join us. We'd love to talk to you about any of this.
Yeah,
and we will do it politely and kindly. But we're going to let you know if you sound delusional.
Here they come. I can see it now. Beating down the doors to come talk to us. Okay. Fair enough.
Gotta walk the talk and sing the rhyme. Confidence so heavy it stops time. Eyes on the prize, yeah, that's the line. Step in the room, it's my paradigm. Swipe right once, I've got the charm. Heart beats fast, creates alarm. In my zone, my calm disarms. Hand in hand, we light the stars. Speak like a boss, talk like a king. Words cut through like it's nothing. Swagger in every single thing. Crowd cheers loud, it's a winning ring. Date nights lit like city lights. VIP, we own the nights. Success in love, reach new heights. Whisper sweet and hold her tight. Confidence flows like a river wide. No need to hide, just glide and ride. Challenge me though, I've got the pride.